Good evening, guys. Thanks a lot for joining to yet another ADV webinar. Let's quickly see who's here. Okay, let me know if my audio, video, screen share, everything is fine. Is everything okay? Maybe if someone can confirm on the chat. Hi. Oh, nice. Good to have you all here. Thank you for joining. I know it's a bit of a busy week, but we have to finish off this lesson. So let's focus on it and finish it off. So there's a tute for this. Whether you're attending classes or if this is your first class with ADV, that is fine. There's a free tute that we are providing as part of this free webinar series. You can actually go and download it. So I'm going to show you where to get it from. Class students also just go and download it so that because there's an additional part, you'll already have it printed, most of the tute. There's a small section that is in addition to the printed version that you're getting. So just go and download it. So you have to go to this website. Let me show you. Go to the events.adv.lk. Let me send that to you in the chat box. Tute can be downloaded from this website, events.adv.lk. Okay. I have sent a message in the chat box. You can go to that link, events.adv.lk. If you go there, the webinar link, the Zoom link also was there. And then below that, I have said link to download tute. So you just click that. This tute will open. There's this PDF that we have uploaded and kept. You can actually download it, get it printed. Class students, you guys anyways have it as part of your book one. Okay? It's already there. But anyways, get it printed because that's one thing. So if you take a look at this tute, the first part of it provides an introduction to this PROSE. What Lahore attack was, and then who said it, a little bit of Kumar Sankara, a little bit of the background. And then you have the techniques. What are those literary techniques that are used in terms of imagery, humor, all of that. And then in the next page, in the third page, you have like a short note. Now, this is, I think, class students, you all don't have this part of it in your tute. So you can download this. This basically has like the 2 lines we need, like one line about the poet, one line about the poem. This is what we are going to do right when it comes to essay writing. So couple of points on that. And then what are the most important techniques? I have listed it down. In today's session, we will be talking about something called themes. What are the most important messages or the important themes we can understand from this prose here? So that part. And then most important quotations, which is obviously one of the most important things when it comes to a prose or drama or poetry or whatever, because whenever we are writing, let's say essay answer, we need at least 4 quotations, 3 or 4 or 5 quotations, which we need to remember and write. So I have listed down the most important ones. From this, I will tell you what are the things that need to be highlighted. You can just remember that for the upcoming term test. You'll have a term test, coming up in end of July, right? So if you can just remember some of these quotations, and if you can, and we'll be discussing some of the past paper questions also today. I have given a list of what are those questions that can come from 2016 to 2021. If you can, hopefully during this 2 hours webinar that we have, covering this basically will give you a good enough idea, to do that Lahore attack question for your term test, upcoming term test. And you know that prose carries 25 marks. Yeah, not prose carries 25 marks. Lahore attack alone, if you take, that could be a context question, so that's 5 marks. And then essay question anyways will come, so that's 15 marks. So nearly 20 marks, potential 20 marks from your entire literature paper. So at least if you can write something, that is something. Okay, so download this tute. I have sent it in the chat box. I will send that message again in case there is anyone new who has joined. I mean, you can download it now or you can download it later. It's okay. I will keep this for about a couple of days. We will remove it after 3 days. So you can even download it after the webinar. You can download it tomorrow also. Download it and print it and keep it. Okay. Right. So that is your tute. we can start. I think that was more or less the introduction. Now, in terms of for those of you who are new to ADVI, if you don't know much about us, you can go and check out our website www.advi.lk. Most of who we are and what we are and what we do is basically listed on all of that. If you take me, I've been teaching Elite for about 10 plus years now, 12 plus years now. Every year we are able to produce quite a number of A's, and we take them to BMICH and we give them a gold medal. So literature being hard is one of those, whenever I go to schools for seminars or whenever I meet students, always people keep saying literature is hard. To be honest, it's not. If you know English and if you can write something, to be honest, this is one of the easier chapters, easier subjects. You just need to know certain things you need to remember. And from that certain things, you need to be able to write an essay, like 1 to 1.5 pages, or at least if you can write 2 pages, then that's basically your A is right there. So that is basically what literature is about, because as far as O-level lit is concerned, it's not too hard. A-level lit is hard, O-level lit is doable, and we have produced enough and more A's in the past. So let's get into Lahore attack. When I come back, when I'm talking about the past papers, when we are doing the past paper questions, I'll talk a little bit more on the essays, and maybe we can have a separate webinar on how to write essay answers, how to tackle it. We can do that as well. But today's focus is on Lahore attack. So I am going to come back to Lahore attack. Are we good to go? Shall we start? Okay, we are good to go. So, right. So let's try and see if we can cover this webinar within the next 2 hours. I don't think we'll need time till 10:30. We are going to cover the story first. Then I'm going to quickly cover the themes. And then we are going to go and cover off the past paper questions as well. We'll do a quick sum up of that and we are good to go. Okay. So Lahore attack, Lahore is a city in Pakistan. Okay. The background to this story, the prose, is basically it goes like this. So the person who wrote this, or the person who spoke this, it was actually a speech. Okay. So there's this person called Kumar Sangakkara. He's one of Sri Lanka's very popular cricketers. I don't know whether you guys know about him or whether you all have watched. But when we were in school, when we were in grade 10 and 11 and all, this guy was the best, right? He was one of the world's best batsmen. Even today, his records are still there. So this is his speech. He had a long speech called the Colin Cowdrey Lecture. What does that mean? Every year, or and on an annual basis, all these cricketers, they have these old, like grounds like the Lords, Oval, Kiela and all. They have these grounds in the UK and all. So there's a tradition of a person. Every year they bring a person to deliver something called the Colin Cowdrey Lecture. It's like a speech where he comes and says, and all these old cricketers and all these board members and all, they sit and wait and they listen to this speech. So Kumar Sangakkara during 2000, that year when he did this 2012 or 14 or something, that during that year, sorry, 2011, okay, that was the year where Sangakkara got the opportunity to go and do that speech. Usually, this Colin Cowdrey lecture, this speech, is done by a retired cricketer. Now, Sangha is now retired, no, so he might be called now to do it. Or Arjuna Ranatunga, he is a very old retired cricketer. Again, he might be called to do it. Usually, this is usually done by a retired cricketer. But during that 2011, Sangakkara was still playing. But he was actually called to do this Colin Cowdrey lecture. That was like a big deal at that time because, this guy is not even retired, but still getting to do a speech means that's a big thing. Okay. And then in that part, in his speech, he spoke about a lot of things. He spoke about like cricket in Sri Lanka, politics in Sri Lanka. You all know politics in Sri Lanka is a never-ending story, right? And how, politics is influencing cricket. That's not in Sri Lanka. In India also the same story. All of that he actually spoke. So it was a very emotional and a very sensitive speech. And in his speech, one section was the Lahore attack. About like about 5-6 minutes of his speech basically was about how the Sri Lankan cricket team had to face a terrorist attack when they went to Pakistan. That is what this is about. His speech was so powerful, right, that at the end of his speech, people stood up and clapped. We call it as a standing ovation. His speech was so good. people were like, oh my God, this guy is great killer. They stood up and clapped. So it's not very easy to, usually speeches are very boring, right? I mean, no, you all stand for your principal speech in the morning assembly, no? Yeah, you all don't stand because you love it, no, you're forced to, right? So this guy's speech was so good that they actually stood up and clapped. So we'll see what actually he spoke about it, right? And what he actually has spoken about and what is the most important thing. But as far as the introduction is concerned, so Kumar Sangakkara is one of Sri Lanka's foremost cricketers. That's a point you need to remember. In your essay answers, in your introduction paragraph, you can write that as a point for Kumar Sangakkara. No need to write too much beyond that. And here I have said that this extract is taken from his famous Colin Cowdrey lecture. So if you want, you can remember that part also in the introduction para. You can maybe write that. No need to remember the year and all. All of that is unnecessary. It basically, people who listen to that speech and all, it mesmerized them. We are saying mesmerized means they were very surprised. They were very, like, very, like shocked at the way, the speech was delivered. People loved it. So the Lahore attack describes events pertaining to the terrorist attack on the Sri Lankan national cricket team on the 3rd March 2009 near the Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore, Pakistan. The Sri Lankan team came in as a replacement for the Indian team who had pulled out after the Mumbai attacks. 6 cricketers were injured, 6 Pakistani policemen and 2 civilians were injured. So were killed, sorry. What basically happened was, right, so you have India and you have Sri Lanka. Basically, Pakistan and India were supposed to play a series, a match, tournament. Okay. But before that tournament, Pakistan and India. Okay. Before that tournament, India basically got a terrorist attack. Multiple, like in Mumbai or something. So hotels were attacked and people were killed. So India was like, okay, we're not going to play with Pakistan. Because as always, there are issues are there. No, even recently there was a big drama on that. So they were like, okay, we are not going to Pakistan, we are not going to play with them. And actually, everybody else also said they can't because of the terrorist attack, the threat and all. So those terrorists who basically had this attack and all had also warned saying anyone who comes, we will attack. They wanted to break the tourism, and all of that as far as Pakistan is concerned. So everyone at that time took a step back. Australia, New Zealand, and all said we can't go. Sri Lankan cricket team. I mean, we had a good relationship between India also, and we had a good relationship with Pakistan also because Pakistan also had helped us a lot during the war by sending Kafir and Jet and all that pilots and all that. They had a good relationship. So to protect that, Sri Lanka was like, okay, we will come. It's okay, we will send our cricketer scale, put all these buggers into a plane and send. People who are making this decision are the politicians. Those buggers won't go. But put all our Sangakkara, all the most important players, put them and send Baliyad basically, right? Goat for sacrifice. So these buggers went and they started playing couple of matches. There was a test match that they were playing. And during one of those matches, now, so you have the ground and you have the hotel. No? So during one of these matches, when they got into the bus, okay, ignore my drawings. I know they look like a child's, but focus on the story, right? When they were going to the ground, the pavilion, on the way, right, there were a bunch of terrorists, like taking a walk in the park, like how we will walk in the park. These buggers were carrying a bunch of guns and they basically started attacking the bus. This is basically what happened. Okay. So our cricketers are inside that bus. TM Dilshan, Sangakkara, Mahela Javardhan, all the main cricketers that we had in the last 10, 50 years or whatever. Those guys are inside that bus. And these fellows started shooting. And this story, the Lahore attack, is about that particular incident. What happened? What were they thinking during that time? How did they escape? What on earth happened is basically this story. Okay. So a lot of interesting, funny things happen down the line also. So we will talk about it one by one. But this Lahore attack is about that, where the Sri Lankan cricket team was there and they were attacked by this terrorist group. Okay. So now let's go to the story and then we'll come back to the techniques and all of that. Right. Okay. So Kumar Sangakkara, he says, I was fortunate that during my life, I never experienced violence in Sri Lanka firsthand. There have been, it should be there. There have been so many bomb explosions over the years, but I was never in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, Sri Lanka. I don't know whether you know about Sri Lanka's past. Big match, okay? We will talk about it down the line. But Sri Lanka has a very dark past. For 30 years, from like 1980 from 1980s to 2009, we had a 30-year civil war where there was a group called, there was a group called the Liberation Tigers, like a terrorist group basically, and they had a civil war as in army versus that Liberation Tigers who had captured certain parts of Sri Lanka. There was a war going on, right? And because of that, there were so many bomb blasts, there were so many attacks, there were so many people killed. Like even during when we were going to school, also sometimes we'll get down and run from a bus because thinking there'll be a bomb in it and all that stuff. So like that, there have been so many attacks and bombs and people dying. So Sangakara says, now Sangha is from Kandy, right? People Kandians, Sangha is from Kandy. I think Trinity College, if I'm right. And from small itself, he was playing cricket. Fellow, you all have seen. I don't know if you haven't seen, but check. He speaks in very good English and very very posh guy, right? So he grew up, in Kandy. He was going to school. He was doing his practices and all of that. One of my old sirs in my school, he was a classmate of Sangakar. So he used to say Sangha was never in class with him. He always used to go to cricket practice and all, but Bugger's English and everything is so good, so his marks always used to be very good here. But whatever. So he comes and says he has never been in a bomb blast before. In Sri Lanka also, there has been a lot of bomb explosions, but I was never in the wrong place at the wrong time. Whenever those bombs were there, I was not there. So I don't have experience, is basically what he's saying. In Colombo, apart from these occasional bombs, occasional means very, like once in a while, there'll be a bomb in Colombo, like a bus will blast, or like a suicide bomb, like, something will blast, like Chandrika was all a president in the past. They had targeted her and all in her rallies and all, there have been bombs, right? So apart from these occasional bombs, life was relatively normal. Normal way we lived our life. People had the luxury of being physically detached from the war. What is this physically detached? Because most of the war was happening in the north and the east. Because Liberation Tigers had caught those areas, and then basically the most of the war was going there. So Colombo, Kandy, and all was less exposed. Okay, so he's saying people had the luxury. Like in people in Colombo, they were not very exposed to the war as opposed to the north. Children went to school, people went to work. I played my cricket. So he's saying this was a normal lifestyle, basically, that we were leading. Okay. Liberation Tigers is basically the LTT. Long story, we will talk about it in Big Match if we do that as a webinar. Okay. In other parts of the country, though, people were putting their lives in harm's way every day in the defense of their motherland or just trying to survive the geographical circumstances that made them inhabit a war zone. Now, what does that mean? He's saying even though Colombo, Kandy, and all these places were not exposed to the war, there were other parts of the country, like the north, the east, right? They were exposed to the war. So people were in harm's way every day. They were in danger by either defending their motherland means he's talking about the army. So the army in the war, they were basically dying, and then people who are living in those areas, now you see, if a war is happening, most of the time the people who die are the innocent ones. Now see, India, Pakistan will fight. But when they go and put a bomb, it's the innocent people who die. Right? Iran, Israel will fight. But then whenever those bombs fall on those people, the innocent people actually end up dying. That is exactly what happens in a war. Russia, Ukraine, same thing. Right? So here also he's saying, all those people who are living in those areas, because their geographical circumstance means they were born there, right? Geographically, if you're born in Colombo, you're not exposed. But geographically, if you're born in the north or the east, you are directly exposed to that war zone. So that is what he's saying. They are just trying to survive because they were born there, they're living there. So it's a war zone now, and they are basically trying to survive here. So that's what he's saying. Fair enough. For them, now this is a very important line. For them, avoiding bullets, shells, mines, and grenades was imperative for survival. In that tune, I will highlight this when we take that tune, right? So he's saying for those people who are living in the north and the east and all these, every day they will see bullets. Every day they will see shell. Shell means there are bombs, well, like you have these cannons, like these tank and all. When they shoot those bombs are what you call as shells, right? Those blast and you die basically, right? Mines means they bury it under the land and keep. If you keep your leg, one moment you will be in the land, and then when you take the leg, it will blast, and next moment you'll be flying up. Yes. So those are mines. Grenades means those small bombs you all would have seen in like movies and all. They remove that and then they throw that those. So what Sangha is saying is, whether you're a child or a man or woman, if you're living in these north and east areas, every day you see bullets, you see grenades, you see mines. Every day you have to survive those. True. Those days during the war, when a child was going to school, even now, when we go to school, what do you see on a daily basis? You will see some ice cream and you will see some, traffic and whatever, and you'll cry and go to school. Those days when those fellows were going to school, those children were going to school, in the road and all, they'll see bullets, they'll see dead bodies, they'll see like bombs blasted and stuff like that. So it's part of their life. It has been part of their life. So Sanghakara was saying in those areas, those people had to survive. They had to avoid bullets and shells and mines and grenades. It was imperative for survival care. It was very important for survival care. Okay. Now he is saying this was an experience. Now these and all you don't have to highlight. I just highlighted it. This is okay. I was never in the wrong place. These are all like important, like words to explain. I have highlighted. But like important quotations, I will give you in the tute. It's there, no? So those I will highlight and give. You can take a screenshot, and then once you download the tute, you can highlight. Okay. He's saying this was an experience I could not relate. Obviously when you're in Kalam now, you all relate to this experience? Have you all seen bullets and all? Not really. Maybe in movies and all, or when you go to the museum, you all will see. But these are not experiences which we can relate to. He's saying, I had great sympathy. I felt very bad and I felt very sorry for them. And I had a lot of compassion for them also here. As in, I had a lot of, I felt really bad for them. I felt really sorry for them. But I had no real experience with which I could draw parallels. What he's saying is, I don't have experience in all of these bullets and mines and all these things. So I can't draw parallel. What does that mean? I don't have experience, so I don't really know what they felt like, is what he's saying, which is true. Most of those guys also, like even us, if you take, we were not living in a war period. No. To be honest, more than y'all, we have when we were going to school and all, right? At some point, sometimes, bombs blast and um, all of these things happen. We have a lot of horrible experiences. Maybe one or two I will tell you today. But like, not like how those people have. Like, for an example, when I was small, I was going in the car with my dad. And then when we were in like a traffic light and whatever, people are running towards this side. Some are getting down from the car also and running. And then dad caught one bugger. Like in a movie, right? Dad caught one bugger and was like, what is happening? And then he was like, koti, koti, koti. And then he ran, right? Koti means tiger. So liberation tigers, no. So liberation LTT used to be called as the tiger, right? So in Sinhala, that's Koti. So Kotia Panala Gela, they used to run. Kotia Panala means a tiger has been come. Basically, one of those suicide bombers have come and he's basically trying to blow up like a roundabout or something, and people are running. So what dad did was he quickly parked the car, he turned around, went to the other road or something, parked the car, took me, and he also ran back home. I think we are in Rajgiri, so he went to Kolanna our side, and from there he actually walked all the way home. And then later only we went and took the car. I was very small at that time, but I still remember that him, carrying and running and all those things. So the bomb didn't blast, thank God. Our car, nothing happened, but they had caught him or he had escaped or something like that. But there are incidents like that have happened. There are bombs that have blasted. There are people who have died. Okay, but you all don't have experience to that part of it. We have to a certain extent, we have, but not as much as the north and the east people. All right, right. That was until we toured Pakistan in 2009. So he's like, we didn't have exposure to the bombs and all these things until 2009. We set off to play two tests in Karachi, Lahore, two cities in Pakistan. The first test was played on a feather bed. Feather bed like like you have different types of pitches. Feather bed is like a smooth, like it's very easy to bowl and bat. And sorry, actually it's very easy to bat. Like an easy smooth pitch. Okay. So he's like this. The first test match was very easy. It passed without great incident. Simple. The second test match was also meandering along. Meandering means slowly going. You all have seen test matches. I don't know whether you all even watch actually. Like a 5 day, IO, this ball, ever, ball, and that fellow will like, they won't hit. It's not like a T20 where they whack and all. That test is like tapping. Tap, tap, tap. There will be some batsman who come down the track and you're like, oh my God, it's going to hit a six. And then he comes and gala, he taps. And we are like, so tests are like very boring. I mean, for us, but for cricket, I mean, the real value of cricket actually is in test matches. The second test was also meandering along, slowly going with us piling up a big first inning. So he's like, our first innings was very good. We put a nice, good score, right? And then on day three, test matches are 5 days, by the way. Third day, they are going to go to the ground. Having been asked to leave early. So now, Pakistan bus also has to come. The Pakistan players also have to come. The Sri Lankan players also have to go to the ground. These fellows have told Sri Lankan bus to go early, saying you all go early. Maybe that was planned. We don't know, right? We don't know anything like that. Okay. But they have told, okay, Sri Lankan bus, you all go early. Pakistan bus will come later. Kela. They have sent them. From where? From the hotel to the ground. We were anticipating a day of hard toil. Anticipating means expecting. So they're like, now we have batted a big innings. No, now those fellows have to bat. No. So this third day is going to be a very difficult day for our bowlers because they have to bowl, and wait. Right? Hard toil means lot of hard work for the bowlers. At the back of the bus, the fast bowlers were loud in their complaints. And now and especially the fast bowlers are the ones who die the most, right? Others have to run and come and put, and then this fellow will just tap no man. And then again he has to take the ball, run and come. That's why Malinga and all left test matches early. He didn't play for a very long time because it's hard. You have to go on, his half the energy would be gone. Right? So I remember Tilan Tushara being particularly vocal. Tilan Tushara, one of the bowlers at that time, he had been like very loud. He had been like, "Ayyo, my back is hurting," complaining that was his back was near breaking point. He had been like, "Ayyo, my back hurts, my back hurts." Yeah, he had been shouting, right? He joked that he wished a bomb would go off so we could all leave Lahore and go back home. See, there are certain things you shouldn't say. Sometimes when something happens, somebody says Amin or whatever, that's it. So when this bugger would have told, somebody would have said Amin or something, bugger had been like, I wish a bomb will blast so that we can all go home. And just as that Ravi says, some people have kharunak, black tongue. Yeah, when they say it, immediately it happens and stuff like that. So this fellow had just said that 30 seconds have passed when we heard what sounded like firecrackers going off. Firecrackers, nothing, pata 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 kala, the sound comes, yes. Like that, there's a pata 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 sound going on. Suddenly a shout came from the front, get down, they are shooting at the bus. So just after he had said this, some pata 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 sound had come in. Good thing is they reacted very fast. See, the reaction was immediate. Everyone dived for cover and they took shelter on the aisle. What do you mean by aisle? In that bus, the middle seat thingy, right? So if you have, this is the bus basically, right? Inside the bus, you have these seats on both the sides, no? Right? You have these seats on both the sides and you have the middle portion, the aisle where you walk and dance and all that during the trips. So a lot of people now, as soon as these guys started shooting, people are like, sleeping on the behind the seat, under the seat, on the aisle, mayhem and all, people are down. Why? Because if you stand like this, the bullet will come and hit your face only. If you're down, at least your exposure is less. No. So that's the smart thing, right? These guys reacted very fast and everyone dived for cover and took shelter. And with very little space, we were all lying on top of each other. That's the good thing because they reacted fast. If it was us, what would we have done? Oh, look, imagine a bunch of aunties are inside that bus, right? The moment these buggers are starting to shoot at us, how will the reaction be? And pull and all of the by the time they go and catch the pull and catch the umma and all, pretty much everybody would have bullets through the head gone, right? But these fellows, they reacted very fast. Some people don't react also, right? I mean, all of a sudden you're in the road and the bus is coming, you like freeze. You don't know what to do. These guys reacted. And that is probably one of the things that saved them, to be honest, because they were quickly down and on the floor. No? So the bullets are not hitting, no? At least to a certain extent. That's probably what saved them, right? So they are very quick reaction time. That is an important thing to note. Yeah. They are cricketers, right? They're sportsmen. So one of the advantages of playing sports is that you have very quick reaction time, like badminton when you're playing or when you're playing cricket, even when a catch comes and all, you have to catch it, right? Your reaction time is very quick. One of the advantages in playing sports is that. So one of those questions, if an essay type question comes saying, what are the advantages of a sportsman or qualities of a sportsman or something like that? One of those qualities is that reaction time, the quick reaction. And this is the evidence for it. So all of these are cricketers, no, they can't be slow and become a good cricketers, basically. Okay, right. Then the bullet started to hit. It was like rain on a tin roof. When rain, I think it's raining now actually. When rain is hitting on like our aluminium taharang roof, that tat tat pata 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 pata, that sound comes like that. When the bullets are hitting the bus, it's like rain on a tin roof, and the bus was at a standstill. Now I told you know the bus is going from, where is that picture that I drew? This one. The bus is going from the hotel to the ground. These fellows, Vatakaragana, they shot. On the way, no, what happened was the driver got shot. He didn't die, but he got shot. And because of that, he fell off or something like that, and the bus stopped. Now that is even easy, at least if the bus is moving, they will escape. But the bus is now stopped in the middle of the road. And these fellows, it's like very easy target. They continuously shoot shot at the bus. Okay. As bullets started bursting through the bus. Now the bullets are going through the walls of the bus, inside the bus also. All we could do was stay still and quiet, hoping and praying to avoid death or injury. මේ වගේ incidents වෙනකොට තමයි we remember to pray. Like if tomorrow is your term test and if you haven't studied, then only you remember God. No? You tell, okay, God, please help me. Please help me pass. Only for tomorrow, from next term, I will study from the first day itself. That's how we pray to God, right? Yeah. And then from the next term, you forget God exists, basically. This is what happens in every term test. No? At least for those of you who study, it's like this. Yeah, usually when something like this happens, only we remember God. Other time and all, we are like full like innava. These guys are also like that only. So they are praying that, Ayo, please save us and all that. So suddenly Mahela, that's also very popular cricketer at that time. Sangha Mahela, they were like best friends. They were very popular cricketers, very good cricketers. Both were captains also. Suddenly, Mahela, who sits at the back of the bus, shouts saying he thinks he has been hit in the shin. Shin means part of the leg, right? So he's like, Ayyo, mage kahula, I think I'm shot, Kela. He's shouting. I am lying next to Tilan. So Sangha is like, okay, I was next to Tilan. He groans in pain as a bullet hits him in the back of his thigh. Again, part of his leg, the behind of the leg. Bullet has hit him, and Tilan is like, Ayyo, Kela. He's been shouting. And Sangha is like looking at them and waiting, right? As I turn my head to look at him, now Tilan is shouting, "Na iyo mage kakula kela." So Sangha is now turning his head like this. To look at whom? To look at Tilan. Like this, he's turning his head. I feel something whisk past my ear. Whisk. Like if he's turning and then Gala, something is going past his ear. To see just the moment when he turned to see Tilan, at that exact moment, a bullet had gone like this and hit the a bullet thuds into the side of the seat. So seat deke side deke tak gala it has hit the exact spot where my head had been a few seconds earlier. Ara, this is like this Hollywood, Bollywood, not Hollywood, Bollywood, Tamil movies. Wage, ara, like the bullet is coming and then like so Rajinikanth will turn like this and then bullet will go. But Rajinikanth, of course, he will stop the bullet and then make it turn and send it back. But like, in movies, right? This happens in movies, no? Like the bullet is coming and then you see the bullet goes. So is Sangakara lying? I don't think so, because this was very close, right? This is a real incident. So the bullet has come. If Tilan hadn't shouted, Sangakara wouldn't have turned, right? Because Tilan shouted only, Sangakara turned. If he hadn't turned, the bullet would have hit Sangakara in his face. And then we will not have Sangakara today. There would have been takkali sauce or Sangakara sauce basically. So Gala, the head would have been takkali sauce. Then all of Sangakara's records, all of the World Cup that we nearly won and almost won, and then won also, we wouldn't have had any of that. All we would have had is sauce. So this is what we say. I guess this is, yeah, you all also wouldn't have had the Lahore attack. The story on it. But then to be honest, Lahore attack is easier than the rest. You have Nightingale, you have Wave, and you have like Lumber Room. No? To be honest, out of the four, Lahore attack is the easiest. So you should be thanking him for giving a easy PROSE, right? So, anyways, we would have had Takali sauce and no Sanka class. So he's saying a bullet stuck into the side of the head, but I feel something hit my shoulder and it goes numb. So to be honest, then he was shot. Somewhere some bullet had come and hit him in the shoulder, and it had gone numb. Numb means you don't feel it, like if you don't move it for some time and then the blood, this thing, you don't feel it. No. He had stopped feeling his shoulder. But he's saying, I know I was shot. But I was relieved and I was praying that at least I was not shot in the head. At least shoulder wala you can survive. But if you're shot in the head, you're gone, right? So he's like, at least thank God I was not shot in the head. Taranga Paranavitana. So another guy, right? So we have now Tilan Tushara, then we have Mahela, and then we have Tilan Samaravira. The other guy is Tilan Samaravira. And then Sangakara. And now we are talking about Taranga Paranavitana, right? On his debut tour means first match playing for Sri Lanka. He's also next to me. He stands up, bullets flying all around him. Now, this idiot, instead of sleeping and waiting, Baga gets up and stands up. And then, like in those Hollywood movies, Bollywood movies, bullets are flying all around him. And then he's like, I have been hit. I have been hit. Why the hell did you stand up, you idiot? I have been hit. Kela, he holds his blood-soaked chest. So a bullet had hit him in the chest, right? And he has and then he collapsed into his feet, apparently unconscious. Looks like he is fainted and fallen. Now, if this has happened to your friend, what will you think? Ayyo, what is this? Ayyo, mapavam, Kela, aunties will react like as if the world has ended. Sangakara reacts like this. He's like, I see him and I think, oh my God, you were out first ball, right? You were run out the next innings, and now you are shot. What a terrible first tour, Kela. Look, that man could have died. Yes, he could have died. But this fellow is thinking, this idiot, this unlucky bastard, he was out the first this thing. And then in the second one, he's run out. And now this fellow is shot. What a very unlucky fellow, Kela, he's thinking. People are dying there. This bugger is like, creating jokes. It is strange how clear your thinking is. So Sangha is telling the crowd there, right? In his speech, he's like, see, even though all of this is happening, our thought was still very clear. I did not see my life flash by. I did not see my life flash by. Usually, when you die, they say you see your entire life from the time you are small to when you died. That entire thing goes like a movie. It seems. I don't know. People say that, right? But he's saying I didn't see that because I was not gonna die. And then there was no insane panic. If this was like the bomb, people should have just panicked and screamed and jumped out of the bus and ran, and nothing like that. There was absolute clarity, very clear. Everything that's happening is very clear, and awareness of what was happening at that moment. Kela, he's saying, see, one of the other things about being a sportsman also is that you are able to handle pressure. That is also another quality of a sportsman. Don't you agree? Now, for an example, think about World Cup. Let's say this is the final over, 5 runs to win. You are the bowler. Imagine the pressure. There'll be billions of people watching. Every time you come and put a ball, let's say now you're the Sri Lankan, we are in the final, we are playing against India. You come and put a ball, let's say final over, 10 runs to win. That fellow, maybe Dhoni or someone, hits it for a six. 20 million people will curse you in Sri Lanka because that's the amount of people who are watching and waiting. And let's say you come and put a ball and somehow you get the wicket, then 1 billion people in India, 1.5 billion people in India will curse you, saying that this idiot took a wicket. The pressure on the batsman and the bowler, Dhoni, every time he misses, 1.5 billion people will curse him. So that pressure is massive, right? Even football, any sport, if you take, you miss a goal, you put a goal, anything that happens, there's so much of pressure because there's so many people watching, billions of people. So for a sportsman, because they are used to that very high pressure situation, this is also like part of that pressure situation. That's one of the reasons why I guess Sangha was like, you know what, we didn't feel the panic. And there's another reason also. Like for an example, you can also talk about team spirit. In school, in your class, when the class is shouting or somebody did something, and if the headmistress or the principal comes and punishes you alone, hammers the shit out of you or punishes you, you feel sad. It's like you're gonna cry again. But assume your friend also got hammered. You are also getting hammered. You are also like crying, but they are on the other side. Your friends are also getting hammered, and they are also like. Then, to be honest, it's better. It feels better, no? Don't you agree? Yes. Yeah. I mean, you're struggling means okay, but with you, if your friends are also struggling, it's better. That is why whenever, like in school and all, when you get caught, they also say, Miss, he also didn't do the homework. Please hit him also. Okay, like, yes. Are love vekata, together. So this is like something like that. Because like technically all of them are like now part of the team means they're together now. So that team spirit is there. So everybody is going through Sangakara. If only Sangha is getting shot and all, he'll probably panic. But then Eha Pathema is also dying. In front, Tushara is also dying. Behind Taranga Parana, everybody is dying. And he's like, okay. Okay, if we are going, we'll all go together. So that team spirit is also there to a certain extent. If you are dying, let your friends also die. I mean, I remember once I was drowning in a waterfall because I, like a pandita, I went and got in, and it was a waterfall, right? It's one very deep, and from the bit below there was a tunnel sucking in. We didn't know all of these things. I went in and I was drowning. But then to save, I actually pulled two of my friends also. And they also started drowning, right? So all three of us were drowning together. So, it's always better in life to have your friends in that same situation. If you're drowning, you drown together, like that. So to a certain extent, maybe those are some of the things that help these guys to survive this team spirit and, like that handling pressure situations and things like that. Okay, whatever. We don't know. I'm just saying, could be one of the important qualities of a sportsman here. I hear the bus roar into life and start to move. So actually, what happened was it's not the army or the navy or the air force who came and saved them, right? What happened in the end was, right, the bus automatically, like the driver, he got up, started the bus and drove it again. So he didn't die. The bullet hit, but somehow there was this CM Dilshan. He was close to the driver. This bugger somehow got woken him up or whatever, hit him or something, and got him up and told him, drive, drive, drive. Kila, this fellow had gone with a bullet or whatever and drove the bus into the stadium. We speed up, swerve. Swerve means our drift run in moves like gala swerve when we are finally inside the safety of the stadium. Who should have saved them? Right? We are talking about the army or the police or the navy or the air force or something like that coming and saving them. Maybe not the navy because it's a question, but at least in the army or the air force, the commandos should have come and saved them. Not a single soul in sight. To be honest, this became a very big shame, like a big humiliation to Pakistan. Pakistan has one of the world's good, strong armies, to be honest. But after this incident, the world laughed at them, saying, can't you even protect a bus? Terrorists are just coming and shooting, and to be honest, nobody got caught also. They just walked away. It's like you go to Vihar Mahadevi Park, Onchilla Padala, and then you go home. Eva scene like that, they came, shot, and they went. So this was a big humiliation for Pakistan, to be honest. That is why recently under Imran Khan, when he was president, Sri Lanka went again to play. And people were saying, will this happen again? So he actually put tanks next to the bus and all. There were tanks going. Right, this time. And this time nothing happened. I think this was 2, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, not 4 years ago, I can't remember. But in this incident, 2011, again, nobody was there. And the funniest part was not the part that happened to the bus. Okay. The funniest part was now the bus was saved by the driver, no man. Yeah. And the bus goes into the ground. No. Behind the bus, there was another vehicle. Nobody talks about that vehicle, like a small van. Because now, to be honest, with the cricketers, the referees, there are ground referees, there are umpires and all. So these umpires had come behind this thing, and their driver had also been shot, and their van had also stopped behind the bus. So because all the terrorists were focused on the bus, they hadn't noticed the van that much. Or Simon Toffel, there's a like a very popular umpire at that time. He told this story after this thing, right? And then now all of a sudden the bus went. This bus goes, right? The van is still in the road. Yeah. And then the tourists, now the terrorists, sorry, the terrorists are looking at the bus going and they're like, okay, shit, bus went. And then what do? All of them turn towards the van. And Simon Toffel is like, okay, the bus was going. We see the bus going. Oh God. And then all those terrorists are turning at us. Here, right? And then during that time, something funny had happened and that also. And then all of a sudden, somebody had come and opened the door. And then Simon Toffel and all have been like, hurry, we are done. It's over for us because the terrorists are only coming and opening the door, Kela. And then the door had opened, and to see it was an army person, like a policeman or an army guy. And then Simon Toffel and all have been like, okay, thank God we are saved. But that army guy had gotten into the van and closed the door. He didn't come to save them. He came to save himself, basically, by getting into the van. So the funniest part was nobody even bothered about the van. And then Simon Toffel says, at least the bus had the driver. Our driver is dead. And the terrorists just gave up with him. They had been looking at the van and been like, Munga, shoot karla vada annabang kela, they had gone. That's work, right? Because then it's like you technically have you're not even that valuable for the terrorists to even bother shooting at you. So yeah, that was kind of like what they had told afterwards. Sinnithik. And terrorists had just gone. And then after that, only all the policemen have come and all these things. And Simon Toffel was actually scolding left, right, and center. So what happened after this incident was there is a rush to get off the bus. Now the bus has gone into the stadium. Everybody is rushing to get off the bus. Taranga Paranavitana stands up. But he is not dead. He has been shot in the chest, but he is not dead. He is still bleeding, but has a bullet lodged lightly in his sternum. Chest. You all know the chest, the bone, right? You have that, like it's a bit strong, right? So that sternum, the bullet had actually gone and stopped there instead of going inside. Why? Because the body of the bus had tempered its velocity. Now, when you shoot that bullet from the gun, it has come through like the bus's body. No, it has like gone through the bus and then probably gone through a seat also. So that bullet had slowed down and come and hit his chest and stop there without going inside. Usually, bullets, when they go inside, only the damage happens. It pierces your heart, your lungs, whatever. That is how you die. So, because it had stopped in his chest bone, Bugger survived. It's a bloody miracle, right? Because the truth is, nobody died. I'm not saying somebody should have died. But the thing is, it's a miracle as to how all of true. Maybe one of them could have entered into the bus and killed these people. Maybe the bus was locked, I don't know. But maybe these guys, the terrorists, their motive was not to kill them, but to frighten. But still, even if one of those bullets had gone and hit someone's head, somebody might have died and it would have become a major, political incident. Lot of issues would have happened. But good thing is actually nobody died, but they were injured. They were very badly injured. Y'all can Google like this, Sarah. Y'all can just Google saying Lahore attack on Sri Lanka cricketers here. Then you all will see some pictures of like, some of those, like some of the cricketers. This is Ajanta Mendis. He has a bandage on his head. And then so after that, what happened was when they were inside the ground, Air Force sent a helicopter and stuff, took them in the helicopter out. That is how they actually took them out. But too late, I think. I mean, after everything happens, only the army comes. This is the picture. This is the real picture of the terrorists, like taking a walk in the park and shooting the bus. Komad. Aatal ne, right? So this is Rajanta Mendis and Mahela, and you can just look at these pictures. So all of them were injured. They were very badly injured. So Tilan is helped off the bus. Tilan Samaraveer is also helped off the bus. But see how they are reacting to this now, okay? In the dressing room, there is a mixture of emotions. There is anger. They are very angry that, something like this happened and the Pakistan government didn't give them enough protection. But there was also relief because they have escaped. There is joy. They are very happy. Players and coaching staff are being examined by paramedics. Tilan and Parnavitana are taken by ambulance to the hospital. Paramedics means there are like those medical officers who come in the ambulance like that. We all sit in the dressing room and talked about what happened. Within minutes, there is laughter and the jokes have started to flow. They are a team, they are a bunch of friends, they are together. This is one of those things that help them to survive this. Maybe if they were alone, they would have gone mad. But like I said, like if you are getting attacked, if you are in a bad this thing and your friend is also getting hammered, then first you can laugh about it. And that is basically, it's easier to face something when you're together than when you're alone. So that is basically what's happening here. It shows that team spirit, you know, advantages of being in a team. If you're doing sports, you all will understand this. Or if you're part of a basketball team, or if you're part of a cricket team, or like a swimming team, or a badminton, or a netball team and stuff, that team works together. Like maybe there are like jealousy and ego and all that. But other than that, yeah, football, futsal, anything, right? If you're part of a team or that group, because they have to work together now, they have to depend on each other, right? It's like football, like from the back, they'll defend the ball and then pass it to the midfielders, they will pass it to the front and then the goal. So they have to work together. That bond you don't get usually. In a team only you get that. So this is also more or less like that in terms of like working in a team. And then if they are becoming friends also as part of it, it's easier to face these kind of situations. We have for the first time been a target of violence. We had survived, Kela. This is a spelling mistake, survived, Kela, We all realized what some of our fellow Sri Lankans experienced every day for nearly 30 years. So that's an important quotation as well. I'll highlight it in the tute as well. There was a new respect and awe. Awe means like a respect. Like awesome, like you respect them so much for being awesome, kind of like, right? For their courage and selflessness. So finally, Sangha and all the cricketers, they realized for 30 years, Sri Lankans are going through this, no? In the north, they are going through this. In the east, they are going through this. The army is going through this. Those people are going through this. We just went through this only for like one day, but they are going through this every day. So they are like that new respect has come. It is notable how quickly we got over that attack. Although we were physically injured, mentally we held strong. So that also is a quality of being a sportsman. Let's say you lost the World Cup. We have lost 3 World Cups actually. Sri Lanka has lost actually 4 World Cups. Under Mahela, 2 World Cups were lost. Under Sangakkara, 2 World Cups were lost. 250 over World Cup and 220 over World Cups. We technically have lost 4. Every time you lose a World Cup, it's a major disappointment. The entire country is like, oh, final like I will lose 4 times. We hated cricket at that time. For us itself, if it's this bad, for them, it would have been so bad, right? Or mentally, as a sportsman, once again, you need that mental strength. Otherwise, you can't bear up those expectations of the society. When an auntie itself comes and says, "Ayyo, this person is like this person is like that," Kiela, some of us take it personally. And we are like, you can't face that when a person says something like this. How do you think then, how are these cricketers facing an entire, like a country, right? Like now, for an example, Kusal Mendy, y'all know, everybody spoils that fellow, right? But still he's playing no man and still he's performing as much as he can. So that mental strength is very important for a sportsman, for a player. A few hours after the attack, we were airlifted to the Lahore Air Force Base. I showed you the helicopter, so they were put in the helicopter and taken. Airlifted means that. Okay. Ajanta Mendes, his head swathed in bandages, covered in bandages. I showed you that picture. After multiple shrapnel wounds, shrapnel means when a bomb blast or a bullet bursts, those tiny, tiny, tiny metal pieces come and hit your body. So this fellow has had so many of those shrapnel wounds. He's suggesting a game of poker. Poker means cards. So he's like, hospital in the Air Force base or something. Let's play cards. So that's their mentality, right? Tilan has been brought back sedated. Sedated means with all those injections or gahan anesthesia so that you don't feel the pain. So he's sedated, but he's still fully conscious. Head and like eyes and all are open, and he is being with us. And we make jokes at him, and he smiles back. So this shows the team spirit. If they were alone, it would have been more difficult. But since they are together as a team, as a group, it's easy for them to face this. We were shot at, grenades were thrown at us, we were injured, but we were not cowed. Cowed means we were not scared. They didn't frighten us. We were not scared. Right? We were not down and out. We are Sri Lankan, we thought to ourselves. And that shows patriotism. Love for the country, patriotism, the fact that you're Sri Lanka and you're Sri Lankan and you have been through Sri Lanka. To be honest, we are a tiny country, but we have been through a bloody lot. Recently, there was an Indian trainer who we brought down for our company trainings. So she was saying Sri Lanka is a very resilient country. Resilient means we have gone through a lot, but we still have, borne it. For an example, the 30-year war, and then the very horrible politicians who have been there, and then 2004 tsunami, and then 2019 Easter attack, 2009 the war ending, and then 2022 those Aragalaya, no petrol, no medicine, all of that. And still we are standing, no man, even at such a very tiny country, we have gone through everything that we have to go through. But we still are resilient. So she was talking about how resilient, Sri Lanka is. Sri Lankans are. India, they know a lot about us anyway. So this is also something like that. He's like, we are Sri Lankan. We thought to ourselves, right? We will not give up. We are not down and out. They will not break our spirits. We are tough. We will get through hardship and we will overcome because our spirit is strong. This line is a very good line to show patriotism, right? Love for the country, right? There are some people who are born in Sri Lanka yet support the Indian cricket team and England cricket team and Pakistan cricket team and all. And kick the buggers and send them to those countries. Whether we have a good cricket team or a bad one, you still support Sri Lanka on. As far as I'm concerned, even if Sri Lanka is playing a football match against Portugal and Brazil and all, I'll still support Sri Lanka. I know we will lose very badly. That's a different story. But still, that's our country. It's where you were born, right? End of the day. You don't decide where you were born. That's decided by God or whatever it is that you believe in. So it is what it is. That is your country, right? There was this D.S. Senanayaka's quote, ask not what the country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. Most of us always ask, what is Sri Lanka doing for us? What is this country doing for us? That is not the question. The question has to be, what have you done for the country? Because only then, when all of us think like that, will our country come forward. Nothing will all be dependent on it, and the country is not going to go forward. But first and foremost, our politicians should ask that question. Our biggest issue is that everything in Sri Lanka is beautiful, perfect, except politicians. That's the biggest problem we had for 50 to 75 years. Now we think new politicians have come. We will see how that goes. But yeah, that is a big problem we have. But here in Sangakkara's case and our cricketers, they're like, what? We will not give up because our spirit is strong. And this is what the world saw in our interviews immediately after the attack. We were calm, we were collected, we were rational. Rational means logical. Our emotions held true to our role as unofficial ambassadors. Now think, you are part of the team, let's say. You are shot at, grenades are thrown, bomb blasts has happened, more or less. And then that country, Pakistan, no army, no air force, whatever, they have failed to protect you. If it was one of us, we'd have gone when the media, now how they like to rile up. They're like, oh, Kian, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? We want emotion, Kian. They'll come and say, what will we do? If it was us, would have we would have started and we would have gone against Pakistani fellows. Can't they even send us a bloody tank? Can't they even idiot policemen? Can't they even, come and save us? We would have lost it, to be honest. But these fellows, Sangha, Mahela and all, when they were in those interviews, they never blamed Pakistan. They know that Sri Lanka and Pakistan have that close relationship, the politician, the politics basically, because they helped us during the war and all. They didn't blame. They were like, it is what it is. Terrorism is the global evil. It happens everywhere. We can't blame anyone for this scale. The world was shocked at the way they reacted. And why did they do like that? Because they know they are representing Sri Lanka. It's like they are unofficial ambassador. Ambassador means official representative. Sri Lanka is an ambassador to Pakistan. Official. Unofficial ambassadors are these guys. They're carrying the Sri Lankan flag. They're wearing the Sri Lankan uniform. Like how all of you are unofficial ambassadors for your school. When you wear your school uniform and when you go and dance in the road, right, throwing water and dancing, when people are going in that road, they don't scold you. They look at that school uniform and scold the school. They're like, "Ayo, this school only bloody horrible school, bloody horrible discipline. Should bloody hooligans here." They scold the school and only go. They don't scold you. That is being unofficial ambassadors in school. That's why a government school and all. Most I have noted something. Most government school fellows, whatever the work they do, they won't do it in the school uniform because they respect the school. They will always do it in color or whatever. This private school, these international school fellows only don't care. They will wear the school uniform and put whatever clothes they want, actually. Yeah, it's that love for the school should also be there to a certain extent. You know what I mean? I know some of you all hate your schools, but that's a different story. But here, as far as country is concerned, right? Sangha and all, they knew that what unofficial ambassadors. So they're representing the country, which means they can't tell those things. They have to know that whatever they say, they are representing Sri Lanka. So that also shows patriotism. Their love for the country. Okay. So we end the last part of the PROSE. We're almost done. A week with the PROSE. Next, we'll look at the themes. A week after our arrival in Colombo from Pakistan, I was driving about town and was stopped at a checkpoint. Those days, because of the war, there were a lot of checkpoints. Even us, they used to catch and like they used to stop. They used to check our bags, school bags. Not they used to check because a lot of bombs and all were there no, during that time. So he's saying we were stopped at a checkpoint. A soldier politely inquired as to my health after the attack. So he stopped at a checkpoint, and one of the soldiers realized his Sangakara had been like, "How are you doing? Are you okay?" and all of that. I said I was fine and added that what they as soldiers experience every day, we only experienced for a few minutes. But we managed to grab all the news headlines. Yeah. So he has been like, y'all are going through this on a daily basis in the north and the east and everything. We went through this only for 2 or 3 minutes, but we only got the news. The news all talks about us because we are think cricketers, no popular, no. So, but we are the soldiers are the ones who should be really popular, right? That soldier looked me in the eye. He's looking at Sangha and he's saying, "It is okay if I die because it is my job and I am ready for it. But you are a hero, and if you were to die, it would be a great loss for our country." Kela. Who is saying this? The soldier. That shows patriotism of the soldier. Because he's like, it is my job to protect this country. It is okay if I die. It is my job. That is patriotism, no? To show that much of love for the country, saying you're ready to die. And he's saying, Sangha, you're a hero, you shouldn't die. So that also shows patriotism. What is patriotism? Love for the country. Tanga is like, I was taken aback. I was shocked. How can this man value his life less than mine? He's saying I am more important than him. How can he value his life like that? His sincerity was overwhelming. Tanga was like, I couldn't believe this. Like, this is the amount of love they have. Kela. I felt humbled. I felt like very humble at that point because like this soldier is saying like this here. And then he says, this is the passion that cricket and cricketers evoke in Sri Lanka, right? Because to be very honest, yes, we had a lot of love for our cricketers. We had a lot of love for cricket, not like you all now, because now we have a useless team, right? I mean, now to a certain extent, they're performing okay. But in the recent past, I mean, last 10, 15 years, I mean, last 5 years or whatever, it's been a useless team. But like back in the day, we had a legendary team. If you go and check all the cricket records in that top 10, top 20 list, there were like still there are a lot of Sri Lankans. And they were all part of a same team. They all played together at that time. So our childhood was with that. That was a beautiful era. We loved them, and Sangha says, this is the love that I strive, that I work hard every day to be worthy of. That is also a beautiful quotation. Okay. So that's the end of the prose. Yes. Let us go back to the tute. I will quickly underline some of the most important quotations for you to remember for your exam. People who joined the seminar late, webinar late, sending a message in the the Zoom chat saying tute can be downloaded from this website, events.advi.lk. I have opened that here and kept. You can actually go to that website. In that, the home page, we have said you can register for this session, which is what you all would have registered for. And then link to download tute KL. If you press this, that tute will open. So you can download it. Class students, you all will have this tute already printed and given. This Lahore attack, this tute would already be printed and given for you, the first page. So you don't have to worry about it. But the second page, this one is the short note one. I will get this in the third term actually, but for now, you can print this and keep it as the past paper questions. It has some of the most important quotations and like the summary of the introduction, the techniques, those are all there. So you can highlight, you can download it and then you can print it. After the webinar, you all can do. But I'm going to highlight some like 4 or 5 very important quotations. You can take a screenshot and keep. I'll give you like 5 seconds to take a screenshot. You can keep it. After you print it, you can highlight. Okay. So you can, this one is an important, very important quotation. For them, avoiding bullets, shells, mines, grenades is imperative for survival. Very important. And then this one is also important, shows their quick reaction time, you know, how they worked as a team, that one. And then I guess this one, there was no insane panic because again, they're working as a team because they are being a sportsman, their reaction time is fast, right? And then this one, I guess, or this one you can leave, I guess, not very important, but this is important. We all realize what some of our Sri Lankans experience. That is that love for the country, for the countrymen, and what other people are going through, that part. Even this, our emotions held true to our role as unofficial ambassadors. Very important point for patriotism. And this also, it is okay if I die. Again, another patriotism point. And then finally, even this is the love that I strive worthy of every day. That is also okay. Not that important, I guess. Maybe I won't highlight it. But if you want, you can highlight this part. Shows the love that Sri Lankans have for cricket. Okay. So these are, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 quotations in this that I have highlighted. You can take a screenshot of this. Hold on. Can I take it in one window? Can't, no? Okay, hold on. I'll take a, you can take a screenshot. Hold on. Okay, take a screenshot now, and then I'll scroll down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can take a screenshot of this. Once you download the print tute, you can highlight it because you all don't have the tute now. No? So this is one screenshot you can take, and then take a screenshot of this one. There are 6 quotations you can use in any of your essay answers that you write. Okay, so take a screenshot of this also. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So that's a list of important quotations. Quotations, of course, you have to memorize and keep. So what I would, advise you to do is like take a small piece of paper like this, and maybe write some of the quotations or like, foolscap, write it, paste it on your, study table or a study table wall, like at the end, paste it on that and keep your favorite prose. Okay, you can keep like 5, 6 quotations, favorite drama, whatever you pick. You basically have to mainly pick only one prose, one drama, one novel, and one theme, no, for poetry. So from those, you can like, write down the most important quotations, paste it on your wall. Automatically, every day when you just look at it, you will start remembering it. Simple. I mean, you don't have to even force yourself to memorize it. Every day you're going to look at it, no, automatically you will remember. Those are the quick ways in which you can remember stuff. Okay. Hi. So that is your techniques. Let's take a quick look at the themes. Right. Now, what do you mean by themes? Right. Like, okay, before that, I'll give you like a quick update as well. So on a monthly basis, there will be webinars that are conducted starting from English Lit. We will also be conducting some commerce and then history and then math. There can be webinars coming down the line as well for maths and ICT as well. And all of these will be free webinars. We used to do this every year, to be honest. as part of our social responsibility, right? Doing classes and, tuition and all of that is fine. But on the other hand, I think for the last 5 years, we've been doing a lot of free webinars. We don't charge money for it. We give free tutes. Our tutes are like excellent, to be honest. You will see a big difference between our tutes and anyone else's. So you can be part of that. Try to see what are your weak areas. We will touch like certain parts of the syllabus, like important sections. And you can watch those. You can be part of those webinars. You can be part of those seminars, and try to, because it's going to be free end of the day, right? So you learn. Guys, learning, I'll tell you one very important point to all my students who are here, plus if there are any external students, to you all also. Learning in life should never stop. Learn from everywhere you can, anywhere you can. Don't be like, I already know this, so I'm not going to learn or whatever. Learn as much as possible, because end of the day, it's not just about O levels, it's about life after also. Lot of things I learned in school, it has helped me in my corporate. It has helped me to become a director in a company. I'm a director in a big company. They want to talk to me. People will think I'm boasting, whatever, but I am a director in a big company. And whatever I learned in school has helped me a lot. And then even as to teach, I've been teaching for more than 10 years. I've been having thousands of students. It has helped. So you learn as much as possible. Join free seminars, join free webinars. If you like it, and if you're learning something out of it, there's nothing wrong in joining like that. And there's nothing wrong in learning, because you learn as much as possible. But always do past papers. Today we're going to discuss some past papers. In that last, now I'm done with the themes almost. I'll be finishing the themes now, and then we'll be discussing past papers. We'll be having a future webinar on how to write an essay. There are a couple of free videos. I will upload it on YouTube and keep in the Advi channel. You can watch that, or just join the Advi WhatsApp channel. I will put those VODs. We call it as VOD, video, free videos basically, and short videos. How to watch, how to, write essay answers, how to write context answers. Just watch those and learn. Whether it's literature or commerce or math or history or whatever it is, expand your knowledge, work towards your A. Getting an A is not hard. You can get there, but I mean, you need to work towards it. Okay. So people who don't have the WhatsApp channel link and all, you come to this website, this www.events.advi.lk, that website link I sent. We have all our numbers here. The hotline number is there, Tute's number is there, and my number is here. This Rihab is my number. You can drop me a message. I will send you the link. I'll send you all the details that you want, basically. Okay. But be part of the channel, be part of the community. There's a lot of interesting things coming down the line. Every year we do this. This is not the first year we are doing. We've been doing this for the past 5-6 years. This online seminar thing, free seminar thing. If I'm correct, I'm the one who started this long time back in 2020. When the world was suffering, we wanted to do something free of charge to our students, plus everybody else. And we started that free seminar. Mine was the first, the unique one. I remember we started there. That was the first webinar. And we've come this far. So that's good. Okay, cool. Coming back to this now. And we'll try to keep some of these webinars from like 7:30, 9:30. Because most of you sleep by the time you're at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, no? So, right? Okay, we'll see. Right. So Lahore attack themes. First and foremost important theme is the disparity. Disparity means difference. Okay, difference. Difference between privileged people and underprivileged people. What do you mean by privileged people, like rich people? Or in this case, we are talking about people who are living in normal areas like Colombo Candy and all. They're privileged as in they're not exposed to the war. Who are the underprivileged in this particular example? The people who are exposed to the war. So one of the important themes in this story is that for the people who are living in normal areas, they're not exposed to war, right? They're not exposed to conflict. So they don't know what it's like, right? But for those people who are living in those areas, those war areas, every day they have to avoid bullets. Every day they have to avoid bombs. Yes. Every day they have to avoid these things if they have to survive. right? Yes, there was one incident where one of this LTT, they had taken a plane. They didn't have planes. They had somehow gotten one plane, an old one, and they came on top of Colombo and they wanted to bomb near our house. There's this oil tank. They wanted to bomb that, right? So the funniest part during that time was our fellows, we had already Kafir jet and all, but they didn't have that this thing to put it up and shoot that plane. What these idiots did was, right, they took their AK-47 guns and they were shooting from down, from the road, Mehman. Which idiot shoots from an AK-47 to the plane, man? That's up to. So obviously nothing happened to the plane. They came and they went. But funniest, like, the thing is, when you're shooting from an AK-47 or something from the down, the bullet that goes up has to come down, no man. If it didn't hit the plane, it'll come down, right? Because of gravity. The bullets started falling on our heads. So then they quickly said, everybody go inside, don't come out and everything. So we were all in the house. We didn't come out. But like Sri Lankans, there's a lot of people, Urbalai, they want to see, oh, Shaw, fireworks, there's a lot of people who had come out looking at those. And they didn't realize the bullets are starting to come down and fall on them as rain. So there was this one girl in our road, a very small girl, like 11-year-old or 12-year-old girl. A bullet fell on her head and she died. And her father has never been, like, he's a man who's always seen on the road usually. After that death, he basically became like a mental person. Very sad, actually. But if you're living in a war zone now, that we are not living in a war zone, but we got exposed to that just one incident, right? So during the wartime, imagine those people who are living in those areas. Every day bullets are raining on them, right? So that is that thing that they are saying in terms of um, that what avoiding that difference between privileged people and underprivileged people, or people living in the normal areas versus people living in the war zone. Okay, so this is the first thing. Can you take a screenshot of this? This is not the truth. Themes I will never give printed. Even for my class students, they don't get it printed. You take a screenshot of this and you write it down. Class students, you have to write this down in your book. Coming week, Saturday, Sunday, I will check. Okay, you have 1 week homework basically. Put the topic Lahore attack and you are supposed to write these themes. People who don't write, I know they are the ones who haven't joined the webinar. We will figure out a very level punishment for them in the class. But you buggers, you better take a screenshot and write this down. Okay, so I'm giving 5 seconds. People who are not in my classes, we are not giving this printer. These are very important. This is what we use to write for our exams. So make sure you take a screenshot of it quickly. Okay, so 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. That's the first thing. Second, we are talking about humanity and its values during conflict. So see what happened. The reaction was immediate. A quotation we can say during times of conflict or emergency. During times of conflict, it should be or emergency. It is remarkable how the cricketers reacted to this situation. They did not panic. They reacted instantly to protect themselves from bullets. And also, during times like these only, we can see who are the brave ones. Things like bravery, courage, confidence, these kind of things come out during instances like this. Yes, a lot of people will give all the Pandita Katha and brave Katha and all. I'm like this, I am like that, I am this, I am that, Kela. But when it comes to these incidents, only you will see their real face. Lord, like even your friends sometimes will be like, oh, I am very brave and all. But when something happens, Bhaga will be the first one to turn and run. You need to be very careful. I've had friends like that actually. During like street fights and all those things. You are like, okay, Bhagas are coming to hit you and all, and then you turn around and see Bhaga is down. Right? So during times of conflict and during these times when you can really see who are like the brave ones, the courage, the confidence and the reaction and instant and panic and these kind of things. Those things you can see when it comes to these. So we saw how our sportsmen reacted. They reacted in the right way. Can you take a screenshot of this? This is your second thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yes. Next. So humanity and its values is the second one. Team spirit is the third thing. So team spirit, I already explained. That bond, if you're in a football team or a basketball team or a cricket team or whatever, you have a bond. Because end of the day, you find that together, no man, when you lose also, you cry together. When you win also, you hug and, you're so happy and all that. You automatically form that team spirit. So that is one of the most important things where these fellows survive. So for this quotation, within minutes there is laughter and the jokes have started to flow. Ekata, we have said this one, saying PROSE shows how even among all the shooting, cricketers stuck together, even though they were injured, right? They were able to joke with each other. This shows their team spirit and bond behavior. Now, in literature, when we ask you to write essays, okay, we say Lahore attack shows team spirit. Let's say that's the question. You have to prove it. How do you prove it? You can give this as an example. They were shot, but still they're laughing. Are they mental to laugh? No. Why are they shot and then still they're laughing? That team spirit, that bond. I told you, like in classrooms where you're hammered and then you're also getting hammered, your friend is also getting hammered, you're okay with that. So like that. That is an example for team spirit. Yes. You have to give examples and you have to argue. That is what literature is about. You just have to argue with examples and just write it. You can do that. You will easily get an A. Take a screenshot of this. Give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. Next. Last couple of themes. This is a very important theme. Patriotism. Patriotism means love for the country. Okay. So in this, we saw three examples. If I give you an essay type question saying talk about patriotism, Lahore attack talks about patriotism, explain or discuss or something like that. If I tell you, then you should be able to write this. You should be able to say first and foremost patriotism of the cricketer, to show there was one example where they said we are Sri Lankan, we are tough, we will get through hardship. That part is an example to show patriotism of the cricketers, the love they have for the country. Okay. Second one, there's another quotation that they are talking about saying we are like unofficial ambassadors of the country. That is also patriot. Represents the country. It's like a patriotic statement. And third one, that soldier. Patriotism of the cricketers. Well, there are two examples. Patriotism for the soldier, where he said, it is okay if I die because it is my job. That is also patriotism. And here we are talking about patriotism for the soldiers. Okay. So take a screenshot of this. This is your next thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, you better write this down, huh? Class students, this has to go in your note. Right? Other students, I don't anyway give this printed, so this is not in the tude. You all can write it down separately. This will help you for your essay answers. Now, next we're going to discuss past paper questions. I will show you how to take each of these and address those past paper questions, right? Then you all will understand where this is coming from. But these are important. And when you're writing a paragraph also, this is how you're supposed to write. Put a quotation and then say when the cricketers were facing the world for interviews, they remained calm. Why? Because they knew they were representing the country. And this shows the love for their country. Simple. Literature wala, you don't have to write long sentences. You don't have to write very complicated sentences and all. There are some teachers who say that, put all big words and write. If you know the meaning for the word, you put and write. I have marked like sometimes in the past where some students have put like big words and written, and like they don't know the meaning. They put it and then I'm reading, I'm like, this doesn't make sense, no. And then I call and ask, like, why have you put this word? Do you know the meaning? And she's like, no, I just looked at the dictionary and I just put a word. Why? Because my school teacher told me to. You won't get an A for that. You might as well write with how you know, even if it's short sentences, as long as you've written like something like this. Look at how we have written these two lines. If you can write something like this also, that's more than enough. I don't know why people complicate with literature unnecessarily, right? Which is why, we have people freaking out thinking literature is hard. It's not, right? In simple English also, that's completely fine. As long as you've written those arguments, those points, you will get marks. Okay. Anyways, You guys, I think I've been telling you your script, the exams that we've been doing in the recent past, your marks are increasing. That's good to see, but keep working towards it, right? Keep working to improve. It's we have still 6 months, 8 months, so it's a good. You have to keep working, right? Keep working to improve. I'm saying O levels. Grade 10 now you have more time. Okay, next. Last two themes are small themes. Evils of terrorism is one. We are talking about how terrorism is a global evil. It impacts everyone. It doesn't, terrorism doesn't talk about whether you're a soldier or a normal person or a rich or poor or big or small, whatever. It just kills everybody. To keep a bomb means the bomb won't ask, no, are you rich? Ah, okay, you go, okay. Bomb means bomb. Everybody can go up, basically. So he wills of terrorism. Second, cricket is a part of Sri Lankan culture. It has always been. Now only people have forgotten it a little bit because the team is so amazing. But it has always been a part of our culture. Okay. So you can take a screenshot of this as well. That's the last couple. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can we print it and paste it? No. If you are a part of the class student, you have to write it down. You can't print and paste it. Outside, I think I can't come and check your books now, so you can do what you want with it. But class students, print and paste back. You have to write it. Okay. All right. So we are done with the themes. Now we are going to quickly finish the techniques, and then we are going to move on to the past paper questions. So it's 9:30. I told you we won't take that much time. Fair enough, no? So we haven't taken a lot of time. Let's do the techniques now, and then after that we will finish the past papers. Okay. So Mondays, we are planning to keep back-to-back webinars. Like for an example, next Monday. Okay, I'll show the themes once more if people couldn't take screenshots. So one by one, I'll quickly show from the beginning while I talk. So you all can take screenshots. I'm going to give 5 seconds for each theme. If you missed a theme, take a screenshot quickly. Okay. So this is the first one, disparity between privileged and underprivileged. You can take a screenshot. Give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Mondays, we will have some back-to-back webinars. We will be doing BS like commerce webinar as well. Probably next Monday there will be one, and then week after also there will be one. In terms of history, we will do as much as possible. Now we are in the last 6 months before the exam, so we will pick some particular topics now. Litwala, we will be doing novels, right? We will also be doing maybe one drama, either Bear or Crane or something, Twilight of the Crane, right? So we will be doing one of these. So see if you can join these and learn as much as possible. Take a screenshot of this. Okay. So 5 seconds for that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you can take a screenshot of this team spirit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you can take a screenshot of this. Patriotism. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you have the last one, evils of terrorism. You can take a screenshot of that first. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's your themes. Okay, let's talk about the techniques very quickly. So that will take like 10 minutes maximum. We'll finish by 10. I think we should have enough. We would have done pretty much what we wanted to do by that time. So let's take a look at the techniques, right? See, now this is not a poem. Actually, this is not a story. This is actually not a book or like a something like that. It's actually a speech. It's part of a oratory speech basically, right? So I told you, Kumar Sankara was doing that Colin Cowdrey lecture, and basically this was part of the speech. It was part of the Colin Cowdrey lecture. That was a long lecture he gave. This is one part of it. So in this, he has used elocutionary force. Elocutionary force means like very good language and emotionally charged expression. Like we are not down and out, we are Sri Lankan, we are unofficial ambassadors. These are all like very emotional. to show patriotism for the country. Okay. These are all shows the sheer love, the pure love and regard for the country and countrymen. All right. Ilangata imagery, if you take, there is visual imagery, auditory imagery, and tactile imagery. So, Methana, I'm just going to highlight. You all also can highlight elocutionary force and emotionally charged expressions. I think that is important. And then here we have said visual imagery means there were so many pictures like things they have, like we can imagine, right? When the bullets are coming and hitting, this Tilan fellow is standing up, Sangakkara is like turning his head. That is all visual imagery. Auditory imagery means we imagine as if we are hearing, like that rain on a tin roof, that pata 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 sound, that sound, right? Tactile imagery means we imagine as if we are touching it, like he was like he groans in pain, and it's like we also can feel the pain. But so imagery is something he has used here as a literary technique. It's a powerful technique, especially the visual imagery one. Okay, so you can probably highlight the visual imagery part. There's quite a lot there. Not very important. Other than that, there's a little bit of humor also, funny, at a place where he was like, for that the Tarangaparana Vitana, where he was like, this is your first match, you know, you're out the first ball, you're run out, and now you're like, you know, like what a unlucky fellow kind. That's kind of like, you know, funny, but that's not important, so you can leave that out. Elangata, there's something called flash forward. Flash forward means like it's like an indication of what's going to happen in the future. Like in movies and all, sometimes they give you like a flashback means past, flash forward means future. Okay. So here, there was that Bola Tilam Tushara where he said, I hope a bomb will go kill. That's like a flash forward. They give you like a small indication of what's going to happen in the future, and then immediately after that it happens. So again, not very important, but it's a literary technique we use. Stream of consciousness means like when Sangakkara went and met that soldier, and soldier said, "Your life, my life, it's my job." Kiela. And then Sangakkara was thinking, "Oh my God, this fellow is like, how can he, you know, he's so humble and he is so patriotic." Kiela. He was thinking that is that stream of thought. Usually we also get into it, like when you're driving and going, or when you're walking and going, you start thinking of something, and then you get lost in thought. That is what happened to Sangakkara there. It's called stream of consciousness. Again, not very important. These are not things you should write, to be honest. When you're writing essay answers like visual imagery, you can write a little bit. Speech you can include anyways, but the rest is not very important for you to write. But you know, in between essays, just put a few literary techniques if you can. That'll give you more marks, right? And then this is important. How he told his speech. That usually we say the most powerful speeches or the most powerful speakers, okay, are the ones who can make a person cry and laugh. It'll be funny for you to laugh, and then it'll be sad for you to cry. If you can do that as a speaker, make your people laugh and cry both within the same speech, you're a very powerful speaker, Kela. So Sangakkara did that. He made them laugh by telling a few jokes in this speech, but his speech was so powerful that people were very sad. Plus, that is why they stood up and clapped, because it was so powerful, his speech. Yes. So he had a lot of emotional expressions. And when he said, you know, we are like unofficial ambassadors, then when he said, like, you know, we are Sri Lankan, we are not down and out, all of those are like very emotional. And there were sentences that was talking about like with logic also, with reason. Like for an example, when that soldier came and told, you know, I'm a this thing and all, Sangakkara was thinking, how is this fellow even telling something like this? Kela? Those are all like logical. It makes us think. And we're like, oh, amazing. Kela. So those are also there. So this one you can talk. If they ask a question saying, how did Sangakkara convey this message? Or what is the way he did his speech or whatever, we can write about this. It's a very powerful speech. If you have done speeches in school and all, you know it's very difficult to deliver a speech where you make a person cry or make a person laugh. Very difficult. But this fellow has done it. Okay. Finally, simile. Simile means like comparing two things. Or they have said it was like rain on a tin roof, like firecrackers going off. They were comparing it to like rain or firecrackers. So that is simile. And with that, techniques is over. So the most important techniques is the language part, and over here the speech and the visual imagery part. Those are the most important. Okay, that's it. Lahore attack is over, but let's quickly take a look at the past paper questions. Now, last 15 minutes, okay, let's talk very quickly about the past paper question. Listen, right, let's discuss like about 3 past papers and then we are done, right? You can take a screenshot of this and like what I've highlighted, and you can highlight it in the tute when you get it. So I'll zoom out. So this is what I've highlighted. You can also highlight when you get the tute. Take a screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One of you had said, sir, can you show an example for writing an essay, Kiela? So, thing is this, guys, we don't have enough time to talk about writing an essay today. But there's a video I have created, like a 40-minute or 1 hour video on how to write essays. Right? In our WhatsApp channel, we have Advi channel. No? In that, I will put that link saying Advi VOD Kiela, how to write essays Kiela. I will put that. If you all are following that channel, that link will come and you can go and actually watch it. So YouTube video that I have uploaded and kept, you can learn how to write essays. I think it's an essay, how to write essay for a drama. Drama is similar to prose. How to write is similar. So you watch that. That will help you understand how to write an essay answer. This is for my students. You all already have that video. I think you all have already watched it. It's in the classroom. But I will put it in the WhatsApp channel this week for those of you who can benefit from it. Okay. Right. So you can come here. Somebody, you can take a screenshot of this also, the introduction. Hold on. You can highlight this also. This is about the one line about the prose. Okay. Take a screenshot of this as well. Right. Let's quickly talk about the past paper questions parts. All right. And then we are done for the day today. We'll wrap up by 10. Past papers, one of the most important things I'll tell you about Lahore attack is, guys, most of the time, similar questions only get tested. What does that mean? Now look at this, right? 2016, they have said Lahore attack depicts the speaker's pride and admiration for his own culture and country. Kela. What does that mean? They're asking about patriotism. Speaker is Sangano. So Sanga's patriotism, his love, his pride of his country, his admiration of his country, and his love for the country, patriotism, right? And you have to give examples, right? What are those examples that actually showed patriotism, like in the quotations, what you like, or think of the events, the arguments, what are those examples you can use from the prose? One is he said, no, the people in the other parts of the country, they are going through this every day if they want to survive. And I feel very sympathetic towards them, Kiela. That shows his love for the country, no? And his countrymen. Love for the country and countrymen. Yes. So that is one. Hold on. Try to open. So that is one point. See, when it comes to a past paper, okay, the most important thing that we want is your arguments, your points. And we usually give you 7 marks for content. What are your examples you have used? Now you're writing paragraph, like 1-2 pages, you're writing. In that, the most important thing is that evidence you're giving. Did Sanghakara talk about pride? Was he very proud of his country and his countrymen? Do you agree? Yes. What is the evidence? So what is the evidence? This is some of the evidence. You have to talk about how he was feeling sympathy for those people and those soldiers, right? And then there was another instance where he said, we are not down and out, we are Sri Lankans. Their patriotism helped them to face the situation. Kayla, you can write. And then there was another place he said, unofficial ambassadors saying, we represent our country. That is why we can't scold and we have to, be in a very calm manner, right? And then there was another place where he said, we had a new respect for those Sri Lankans in those war zone areas because they are going through this every day, Kiela. And then that soldier incident is also a good example, talking about how soldiers are also very patriotic and their love for the country, and how Sangha also felt so humbled because of this. And finally, his love for the country, Sri Lanka, and cricket, and how Sri Lankans also love cricket. These are all some evidence. I'm not saying these are all the only examples, but when you're writing an answer, now my students, you all already know we call this as the skeleton. Skeleton means what are those points you're going to write. For students, if this is new for you all, you should watch that essay writing example I have told, or a video I will put it in the channel also. Like, what are those points that we need? Because if we see these points only, we will give marks. If you write some bullshit about some story, we won't give marks. You have to give us evidence to show that Sanghakara had pride for the country. What is that evidence? This is the evidence. Make a විතරක් නෙමෙයි. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 points. You can put more, but you have to prove it. So think of literature like a debate, like a proving thing. You have to prove. Geometry wala. In math, geometry you prove, right? Saying A is equal to B, like you have those axioms and all. A is equal to B, B is equal to C. Therefore, 3 dots, and then you say A is equal to C. Like that only this solves. You have to prove. You have to argue, saying these are the evidence, and we want to see those evidence. Then only we will give you that 7 marks for content. Okay, you can take a screenshot of this. This is the 2016 skeleton. We call this as the skeleton. So take a screenshot of that. Class students, I guess you can technically no need to write it down now. During those last 3 months of recap, we will be doing the past papers. In that, I'll ask you to write these down when we are discussing the past papers, but you can take a screenshot of this and keep it. So this is basically your skeleton for 2016. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, listen, if you take a look at the other questions that have come during these 5 years, okay, look at this. Lahore attack depicts the speaker's pride and admiration for his culture and country. Right? Look at this. Look, you can leave the 2017 question for now. Look at 2018. Above all, Lahore attack conveys to its readers attachment towards one's own country. Do you agree? That's the same question. 2016 question, Lajja Nathua repeat karla in a different way. And they are asking. More or less the same arguments only. Do you agree? Yes. It's about love for the country. Attachment means what? Love no man. Love for the country. Yes? Okay. Come back to this. 2021. Lahore attack presents powerful, loyal feelings of pride for one's country. They repeated that again. Love for the country, pride of the country, whatever the country, that's the same thing. Make it now to 2022, 2023, 2024 list is not there. But if you check those, again, shamelessly, they would have repeated that. So every 2 to 3 years, the questions kind of like are again and again, same bombastic, same bucket taking, it's the same thing. That's why we give you themes. That list of themes is only more or less the question. Very rarely do they completely invent something completely new. If they want to make it really hard, they might invent something new and give, but that also will be from the same bucket. Okay, coming back to the other questions. Look at this question. Look at this question. What does the Lahore attack tell us about the privileged and the underprivileged people? Right? This is like, so this is a kind of a different question, but same bucket. If you go back to the theme, this is the first theme I gave you, disparity, difference between privileged and underprivileged. Privileged people can, people in the normal areas, they don't get exposed to war, they don't know anything about it. You can give those evidences where Sanghakara said occasional bombs are only there, we were not exposed to this, blah, blah, blah. And then the people who are in the war zone areas, you can talk about how for them avoiding bullets is important, how they're going through this every day. You can talk about that soldier. Like that, you can give evidence. It's the same thing, same bucket. once again. So how can you say that literature is hard when all of these questions have already given? In that theme, everything is there. Yes, and the evidences are also there actually. So then how can you say that literature is hard when it's all about writing that one page and two page? If you can write 2 pages, one side, two sides basically, you're already towards an A. People who can write at least one page, you're already at a C to a certain extent. So that is how it has to be. Then we have said at the heart of the Lahore attack is the love for cricket and fear of violence. Okay, this is not love for country, but love for cricket and fear of violence. So we can talk about how Sangha, like I think I have a skeleton for these two, so I'll show you the skeleton for these two. You can talk about how Sangakara talked about saying, he has that. So this one, love for cricket, fear of violence. For love for cricket, what are the evidences that you can say? You can say basically how the passion that Sri Lankans have for cricket, that last line, you can talk about it. Soldier, how he came and said, Sangakara, you're a hero. That is an example, evidence. Facing the media, saying, we are calm and collected, even though all of this happened. That's also love for cricket only, end of the day. It's because they love the country, plus they love the sport. They didn't want to disrespect it. And then the team spirit that came because of cricket, no man. And them going to Pakistan to play also was because they didn't want cricket to go down. They didn't want terrorists to actually uh, be able to like force people not to play. And then fear of violence, of course, same thing we wrote on top. We can write like, or you can talk about how they were praying that nobody should get injured, how they were diving for cover. Those examples you can write. So minimum of 6 examples we would require usually. 7 is the marks we are giving for content. No, so at least about 6 examples we would require. At least. If you can write more, you write. But in those paragraphs, in each paragraph, at least give 2 or 3 examples. Even one at least. The more examples you write, the more marks you will get from content. Remember that. One of the things I'm very happy about, I think most of you guys are my class students anyway. So one of the things I'm very happy and proud about is that some of you guys who are really struggling also are now are able to write those examples in those paragraphs. That is something happy to see. At least you all are in that C area. Work towards it and come to that A. Those of you who are like very weak and now you are to a certain extent you have come up, while the rest of you come towards that A as fast as possible. Keep pushing. Literature is not a hard subject to score. Okay, let's take a screenshot of this. This is the 2019 question. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's do the last question as this one. This is a good one. 2017 is Kodak. They wanted to make it a little bit harder. So from this list of questions that you have, this one is different and a bit harder. Look at this. They have said Lahore attack is a mere description. Mere means only. They're saying Lahore attack is just only a description of the speaker's tension and his courage. Is this adequate? Adequate means, is this enough? Is this all what this story is talking about? That's what they ask. Sometimes they ask something like this. They will be like, Lahore attack is only about courage. Or Lahore attack is only about patriotism. Lahore attack is only about tension. Do you agree, Kiela? Is it only about tension? No, there's so much more. There's patriotism, all of that. Is it only about patriotism? Actually, no. There's more. There's sportsmanship, right? There's love for the country, love for the culture. There's a lot of things they talked about. No? So again, themes only. You have to come back to the themes. They are saying it only talks about tension. So when you come back and say, you say, no, it's not only about tension. It's also about patriotism. It's also about difference between, people living in the war zone and people living in normal areas. So how do you tackle a question like the 2017 question? You can say, yes, it is about tension. When the bus was being shot, everybody died for cover. There was a lot of tension, but it's also about, yeah, it's about courage also. That's what the question asks. But in addition to that, you have to say, it's also about team spirit. It's also about patriotism. It's also about sportsmanship. It's also about love for cricket. And then there's a lot of human emotions like bravery, courage. talked about survival skills. You have to give some more points. Like give evidence. Give evidence for patriotism. Give evidence for team spirit. One or two evidence is enough. That is the way you have to attack a question like that. Okay. So you can take a screenshot of the 2017 question also. Okay. So take a screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Okay. As promised, sharp at 10, I have discussed the pros, I have discussed the theme, I have discussed the techniques, and I have discussed some important past paper questions also. Okay. Has been a very successful pros. Has been a very successful webinar. I'm actually very happy we got to finish on time as well. So download the tut, all right, print it, and then highlight how I have highlighted. Follow the 1V WhatsApp channel. There are more webinars coming down the line. To be honest, I mean, yes, we do tuition as well, but we would also be doing some of the free webinars like this for some important subjects now, like maths, ICT, English literature, commerce, history, KLA. We will be doing some webinars. Plus, we will also be doing targeted lessons. Join these, learn as much as possible, and basically benefit out of it. End of the day, that's all that matters. We will most probably do it on Monday nights, but let's see, we'll take a look at it. Keep a track of the events page, events.adv.lk, this page, because all the webinars and seminars we do will be updated in this web page. Will be like a calendar. We will say these are the dates and these are the lessons. Join them, learn, and prepare for your term tests that are coming up, plus also for the O levels down the line. All right. Any questions before we wrap up? We give you 5 minutes. Thank you. Some people had mentioned 100 aura, 1000 aura, and all. Generation Z language we also understand. So good to see. Thank you. Cool. So let's meet in another webinar down the line. Thank you guys for joining. It's been a genuine pleasure. See you soon at some point in the classes or in a future webinar or seminar. Take care. God bless. Bye bye. Good night.